Here we have a 2001 Ford Focus, a single overhead cam. Today I'm going to change the timing belt. I'm unsure of the condition and it is very cheap, and apparently it's only a 1.4 hour job, book time. So let's get to it. You probably notice I have the car jacked up super high. You do not need it this high off the ground to do this job. In fact, your jack might not even reach the oil pan. But yeah, I have it up this high because I'm doing other work as well. The reason you need it jacked up is to get the wheel off, and that's about it. Okay, let's remove the wheel. Gotta remove the hubcap here. Sometimes you can break these, but this one seems to come off nice. Over here under the car, the pry bar, got my 19mm sockets. If you don't have an impact, you're gonna have to loosen the nuts before you jack the car up off the ground, or get a buddy to step on the brake pedal for you. I'll use a bar. There you go, and I like to put these just right here by the jack stand. Ooh. Okay, so there's a plastic cover right here once you got the wheel off. There's a 10mm right there and a 10mm right there. I hope you can see that. There's two. Gotta get the water bottle out of the way. The coolant reservoir. One bolt here. This clip back here, sometimes you're able to just pull it up. Just straight up, but try not to break it. Mine's already broken, so I'm gonna use a screwdriver to help it out. Flathead screwdriver. I don't have clips here like you probably do stock. Yeah, it comes over. There's this little clip here you'll have to undo for. Mine was already undone. Right, that's closed. You'll be able to just lift up, and now you're gonna have to support the engine because you're removing the engine mount. Yeah, I got my jack set up this in the middle of the 2x4 so it spreads pressure on the pan because the car's up at such an angle, and the rear engine mount should hold it center as I jack it up. But before you jack it up, remove these bolts. This 1, 2, and 3. Once you've got those, you're going to want to support the engine with the jack. So I'm going to jack on it slowly here until I see that lift up right there. Now you can remove these two nuts. They're 18mm. Before you remove these nuts, make sure your jack handle is twisted shut because you don't want the engine just falling down during this job. 18mm. Okay. Just pull straight up. This goes over. go. One engine mount, 4 13mm bolts here. Oh, good catch. So here's the cover. I'm just gonna put this here over on the air intake. The lower plastic cover here has 2 bolts like this. They're 8mm. Okay, one is right here and one is right here. Just notice there's another one down there. It's a good time to take off your serpentine belt. Okay, so you're gonna find the belt tensioner right here, and it's a 3/8 drive, so just a ratchet. I'm going the wrong way. This way. And then you just kick it off the pulley. I hope you can see that. There we go. Okay, so first you're gonna have to line up your timing before you take off the crank pulley. See this little indent in the engine head there, right in between the bolts, under that yellow mark? Needs to line up with that little arrow there. And so you're gonna get some extensions, 19mm socket with a bar. You want a bar, not a ratchet, so that the engine doesn't just jump on you. And then you have to do a full 720-degree rotation of the engine again. But yeah, and then there's a mark on the bottom. I'll find that once I line this one up. Okay, so just on the crank, always spin an engine clockwise. Try not to go backwards. Sometimes you can jump teeth on the timing. It's especially important when you're setting the timing before you pull the pin on the tensioner. Sometimes the timing mark is on the pulley for the timing belt, not the actual harmonic balancer itself. So before you remove the crank pulley, I like to line up the timing mark so that the valves have the most clearance possible. See this little indent right there? That little indent right there is your timing mark. Here's the picture I found on Google for your timing marks. That is under the crank pulley, basically points straight up. This one points basically straight up, and you can see right behind there's a little indent to help you line it up. Somebody put a yellow paint marker there from the last time it was done. I'm gonna take my super long extension and 19mm socket, put it on the crank pulley, and we're gonna keep rotating until that timing mark lines up. If it starts to get hard at some points, you can stop, wait, and it starts to get easier. There we go. And you can see the paint mark right there. I did not put that on, that was from the last guy. Belt has a little bit of wear, but Okay, if you do not have an impact for this part, it can be pretty difficult to get this off. I believe you'll have to remove your starter and get some sort of a pry bar to hold the flywheel from turning. There we go. Nice, I got it. Now I'm gonna double check my timing marks. It's still lined up, good. Alright, now I'm gonna take this serpentine belt. Oh, it's nice, the hose clamp is just holding it there for me. You might not be so lucky, you might need a strap. You just wiggle, 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 keep wiggling, don't stop. Just pay attention to this little key on top. I don't know if it's gonna fall out, it might, and if it does, you better find it. There we go, there's your pulley. Now that I got the pulley off, and you got the 3 bolts that hold the plastic cover, you should be able to come out. Better to get this serpentine belt out of your way, but I don't like to take it off to reroute it later, so I'll just tuck it under the tensioner here, just like that. Okay, now we got plenty of space to work. Okay, so top is lined up perfect, correct? And then down here, you can see the timing mark, right? It's lined up. You see it's like maybe 1 or 2 millimeters to the left. That's alright for now. Okay, now that you've got it lined up, you're gonna put an 8 millimeter Allen wrench in the tensioner right there. You'll pull, releasing the tension. And then you'll be able to get the belt off. You can start at the top, or the top's probably the easiest. It's easiest off the tensioner. Careful not to spin the pulley. Ta-da. There you go. Timing belt. Never bend smaller than pulleys. Never use tools to pry onto pulleys. Next step, you got to take the tensioner off. Oh, I did that a little. Pay attention to how it's coming off. Okay, so the flat surface goes down. Okay, now we grab our new tensioner, making sure that the pin is in there. Pin comes through here. Take my bolt to help line it up. Right. Bolt in 1 or 2 spins, make sure the tensioner's in nice. Push in, rotate to the clockwise, nice and tight. Not stupid tight, but very tight for a 10 millimeter. Take your new belt, put it on the crank pulley first. Okay, and then up here. Okay, when you go to install your belt, put it around the crank pulley first, and then you kind of lift up on it, make sure that there's close to no tension here. Okay. Then we'll okay, did I get that? Okay. That's lined up. It's the crank pulley slightly to the left, but when I release the tensioner, it's going to pull it slightly to the right because there's no tension on this side and this side is all straight. If this side has any slack, then your timing marks are probably not lined up, even if it says it is. There's one. And there's 2. Okay, now I'm going to pull the pin. Okay, at this point I'm going to pull the pin on the tensioner and I'm going to spin the engine 4 times and then look at the timing marks and make sure they're still good. So I'm going to use the Allen wrench here and the tensioner. Take a little bit of tension off the pin so I can pull it out and let go. Perfect. The pin somewhere to your side, you might need it again. Okay, that was 720 degrees. The mark on the top is good. Mark on the bottom is good. I'm gonna do another spin. Get the belt all seated properly. It's my final turn. What? Yeah, and they're all lined up. Nice. That's the easiest timing belt ever. So put it back together. Reverse of everything I just did. Not sure if I was clear earlier in the video, but I did reinstall the bolt to where the pulley is usually so I could spin the engine over. It's never good to spin the engine from the camshaft if that's what you're thinking about. Oh, have a good day. Okay, see, my engine has gone down a bit. I think it's when I lowered it to get to the crank bolt. You got to make sure that this engine is supported up higher so that when you tighten up these nuts, they're actually going to go all the way down, and you're not trying to lift the engine with the nuts. So let's just get that jack back up, and yeah, just something to look out for. Also, with the plastic cover, install it with the 2 top bolts loose, and then this bracket actually slides underneath the cover. When these nuts are tight, lower your engine very, very carefully so that it's sitting, and you probably won't have to line it up, but there's a chance you might have to use a pry bar to push the engine side to side, or get a friend to hold it as you lower it. It's not too hard.